WTii here, bringing you a 1v1 on the map Metalopolis. It's between myself as the red Protoss and my enemy, trevize, as the blue Terran. Now I'm in the 6 o'clock position and my enemy is spawned in the 3 o'clock position. Or 2 o'clock position. However you'd like to put it. I'm going to get onto that really, just to see whether it's better for everyone just to say 12, 3, 6, 9, or maybe get real specific and say 1.5 o'clock. You know, 1:47 PM position. You decide. Let's have a look at this anyway. So here we are, pressing it up. I'm going to put on my pylon about 9. That says standard basically, and go straight to scouting. And the first place you go to scout is your nearest place. And he's just gone to scout as well. No, he hasn't actually. I misread that. He's just going to put down his supply depot. I was going to say Terrans can't usually scout that early. They usually scout after the supply depot, which, you know, goes down a lot later than the pylon does. So I see that my enemy is here, which is great news for me, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself an early gateway, going for the 10 gateway. Stopped probes in order to get it. As soon as I can get probes again, I'll go for them. But basically the idea is to get stalkers out. Stalkers out as fast as possible, because I'm in a great position here. Metalopolis, close positions, is like the fastest rush distance possible. So yeah, he's starting to get his barracks by the looks of it about 13, possibly 12 just before he built another SUV. Either way, that's fairly standard really, not too far behind, but I think the harass did slow him down a bit, which is good. Probes are awesome for harassing Terrans. Right now he's getting a few hits on my probe before I wake up and start moving again. The only problem is you've got to have the micro and the macro in order to do both of this, controlling your base. So get myself in a simulator, because obviously I don't want sellers, I want myself stalkers, so I'm going to need plenty of gas for that. Got myself the pylon straight up with the cybernetics core as soon as the gateway is done. All probes into a simulator as soon as it's done. Now I can start chrono boosting a bit with the Nexus, because I didn't use chrono boost at the start, by the way, because I'm going heavy gateway then heavy cybernetics core, so basically making sure I get those buildings as fast as possible, and then I'll use chrono boost on the Nexus whenever available. Otherwise I'll just have chrono boost ticking away on a Nexus that can't make probes because I don't have the minerals for it. So you get where I'm coming from here. So you're starting to make a couple of Marines. Oh, look at this. What's going on here? Marine's going to take care. Oh, I just managed to sneak in an SCV there. You keep winding them down, and sometimes they forget about their weak SCVs, so that's always a good idea. He's just scouted me, so what's he going to do now? He's going to continue making Marines. I've chrono boosted on my Stalker, because I've got it a split second as fast as I could. ASAP, and I want to continue making Stalkers, because Stalkers are awesome against Marines. So he's worried about these Stalkers. He's scouted my base. He definitely knows I'm going Stalkers by the looks of it, because what with the cybernetics core is a big sign. Otherwise it's fast void rays, but I don't think it's that this time. And yeah, he's going to get himself a tech lab, because Marauders will deal with Stalkers quite nicely, although it is somewhat even. So really what I'm trying to find out in this game is how well do Stalkers do against Marauders. I'm pretty sure that straight up they should lose, but I think Stalkers can still put in a fairly good fight. So just picking off a Marine or two here. Didn't lose my shield, lost about 3 hit points. Didn't matter, it's probably worth getting a few extra kills in the Marines anyway. My shield will regenerate whilst it's not being killed. I want to make sure I can try and kill that tech lab, but obviously I know Marauder's going to be pumping out of it, so I just slightly go down the ramp just a little bit. I see the Marauder come out, so I'm just going to hang back as tiny bit. Yeah, I don't want to really get any hits from the Marauders yet. I want his health to regenerate. Try and get a few extra cheap hits in. Gonna have to move back now because the bunker is up. Kill the SCV that's repairing, but at the same time it is good to kill the SCVs that are repairing. But when you think about it, sometimes if you're in a position like this, it's sometimes just better just to constantly attack the tech lab. It's kind of the theory I was going for here. I reckon trying to get the SCVs if he can will be best, but he's constantly got 3 SCVs off his line now, having to repair that tech lab whilst I'm getting lots of free hits here. It's great for me. I'm continually making a couple more gateways and continually chrono boosting in Stalkers as best as I can. So essentially I'm making Stalkers as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible. That's the whole goal here really, and I want to get as many cheap shots in here with this great position, get a few easy hits on that supply depot, but I kind of want to bring down the tech lab. Building a couple more barracks up at the top, so it looks like he's going to focus heavily on Marauders, since I'm going to be focusing heavily on the Stalkers. Now a lot of Protoss players will actually transition into getting themselves robotics bays, but not for me. My enemy is getting himself concussive shells at this point, which are going to be very useful against Stalkers. It's going to basically render them useless from running away because it stuns them as they try to run away. And now Stalkers are very fast units, but concussive shells work against them. So Stalkers are well known for chasing down units and sneaking away, but if you got concussive shells, it's going to be very hard for the Stalkers to get away, which is why I'm going for Twilight Cancel here, and I want to get myself Blink. So that's the approach I'm going to be taking. I could have made a robotics facility instead and then started pumping out Immortals, but I wanted to see here how well I could do with Stalkers, just Stalkers. I'm building a pylon here outside of his base because I'm fairly confident I'm not going to lose this position, but I'm not absolutely certain. But it's always good to have a pylon nearby to warp in more units, as I've got myself warp gates very soon, or they will be upgraded very soon, so I'm getting myself prepared for it basically. Got to always be one step ahead really. So yeah, Marines, a few Marines here, but mostly a Marauder composition going on down here. Looks like a factory's being built. Not too much action at this point. I'm hanging back, he's hanging back. Now I've got my 3 gateways. As soon as that warp gate gets researched, I'm going to convert them all into warp gates, and then I'm just going to be starting to spam in Stalkers. Now I haven't played around with this build perfectly, but it really works for me this game. I'm telling you that, because with 3 gateways and 1 base, and just sort of the amount of probes I had, which is probably the full amount of probes, it's like 28 probes, it's pretty much enough. I was able to basically just about make 3 Stalkers every time it was ready, on cooldown, without losing the mineral, you know, having enough, just about having enough minerals or Thespian gas. So that's really worked out for me quite well here. My enemy has got Stim Pack, and that's the reason why I left my probe out a little bit. I need to get out of here, because there's no way I'm going to be able to take him on with Stim Pack. You can see how useful those concussive shells are against fleeing Stalkers. Now unfortunately, I was trying to research Blink, and Blink looks like it's going to research just about now, which is basically just a bit too late. So I'm having to bring out all my probes, not all of my probes, but a lot of my probes off the mineral line, just to mess up with his AI. Get that little bit of extra advantage. Now I can basically pick off these units quite comfortably, so they're all going to go down. That leaves me with what is that, 8 Stalkers now, and I'm able to warp in some more because I just warped in some 3 next to the pylon that he didn't decide to destroy, which he probably should have destroyed, but then again he decided to miss that so he could get an extra couple of Stalkers, so I can see where he came from there. So yeah, I guess going for the Stalkers was probably the best bet. Anyway, he's starting to pump out Marines now, so he's trying to get himself a bit more of a healthy mix, because it seems to him that Marauders aren't working against Stalkers. Now you can see what I did here is I shift-clicked. Well, I'll actually show that again just for those who want to know how to do this, and it works a lot of the time now, but sometimes it bugs out a bit. I'll just let this battle go off. He's desperately taking almost all of his SCVs off the line. It's not really going to kill me, I'm not too threatened about that. And the Stalkers are triumphant, and there's the GG. Now let's just go back to that bit there. Let's, oh, that's a bit too far back. I'll get back to it, don't you worry. Okay, here we go. Right, getting very close to this. Let's have a look from my opinion. Oh, yeah. Calm down, fella. Calm down. Playing so fast, seriously. Right. It should show you. Player camera appears to be bugged because apparently I'm looking at the left hand side. No, I am not. Right, let's get to this now. Essentially, what you're going to be looking at is what I do is I will shift click up this ramp, shift press B, and then shift press onto here. So each one of my Stalkers, as they hit this point, will blink onto the left bit. And that's how you get them all to transition, rather than trying to bring them all up the ramp and blink them all at the same time, and then some get stuck down here. So you need to shift, right click, shift B onto the position, and it will spaz out, but that was me actually doing that. Anyway, you get the point. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Witty. Please subscribe, rate and comment.